all of the quietness that we're witnessing right now from dude, what would have happened if that quietness was practiced at the beginning? Absolutely nothing. We wouldn't be here.
Nothing to talk about.
Nothing. There's nothing.
Well, so, but in that regard, there was some good promo out of this. I mean,
I don't give a about that, man. I'm a logical, reasonable man of respect, bro. And I raise my children to be men of respect, logical, reasonable, and not to be emotional. So the one thing that I am proud of out of all of this is that the women and children in our family see that it's a line of men.
I see.
That's here.
Right.
Against who the ever. You know what I mean? And we not here to defeat. Like, I don't give a damn about beating. I ain't here to defeat. I'm here to defend. You understand? I'm here to protect what's ours, what we built. Man, this is, man, I die in the street about this man. Mm-hmm. This dead ass serious to me.
I don't, like, sometimes people not gonna like your reaction. Whoop-de-doo. That don't mean that it wasn't an accurate reaction. You know what I'm saying? I hope that none of that happened. You know what I'm saying? But it's done. What's done is done.
The internet moves fast, but when it turns on someone, it turns even faster. And right now, it looks like the spotlight that once made 50 Cent untouchable might finally be starting to burn. For years, 50 Cent built a reputation as one of the most fearless and ruthless figures in hip-hop. Whether it was trolling rivals online, calling out celebrities, or turning real-life feuds into viral moments, he always seemed to come out on top. But lately, something feels different. Fans who once cheered his savage clapbacks are now starting to question them. Critics are saying the jokes aren't landing like they used to. And every new controversy seems to add more fuel to a conversation that's spreading across. Social media is 50 Cent pushing things too far. From unexpected feuds to online backlash and growing criticism from both fans and industry voices. The narrative around him is starting to shift in a way we haven't seen before. Some supporters still ride with him no matter what. But others are beginning to wonder if the strategy that made him famous is now starting to work against him. So what exactly is happening? Why are people suddenly turning on one of hip-hop's most powerful personalities? And could this moment mark the beginning of a serious downfall? Or just another chapter in 50 Cent's long history of controversy? For nearly 2 decades, 50 Cent has built a reputation as one of the most fearless and sometimes ruthless personalities in hip-hop and entertainment. From the moment he exploded onto the music scene in the early 2000s, he made it clear that he wasn't just another rapper trying to climb the charts. He was a strategist, a businessman, and above all, someone who understood the power of attention. Whether that attention came from chart-topping hits, controversial interviews, or savage online trolling, 50 Cent always knew how to keep the spotlight on himself. Back in the early days, his rise felt unstoppable. His debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, didn't just dominate the charts, it changed the landscape of hip-hop, with the support of major industry figures like Dr. Dre and Eminem. 50 Cent quickly became one of the most powerful names in music. His gritty story, coming from the streets of Queens and surviving violence and adversity, made him a symbol of resilience and success. Fans admired not only his music but also his unapologetic attitude. But even at the height of his success, controversy was never far away. Feuds became almost a trademark of his brand. His legendary rivalry with Ja Rule dominated headlines for years and helped shape the competitive culture of hip-hop in the 2000s. For 50 Cent, conflict wasn't just personal, it was promotional. Every diss, every interview, every public jab seemed to strengthen his image as someone who simply didn't care about industry politics or public opinion. As the years went on, however, the music industry began to change. New artists emerged, social media transformed how celebrities interacted with fans, and the hip-hop landscape evolved. While some artists struggled to stay relevant in the new era, 50 Cent found another lane. Instead of relying solely on music, he expanded his influence into television and business. His work behind the scenes as a producer turned out to be just as impactful as his time in the recording studio. One of his biggest successes came with the hit TV series Power. The show became a cultural phenomenon, drawing millions of viewers and spawning an entire franchise of spin-offs. Suddenly, 50 Cent wasn't just a rapper or internet troll. He was a major figure in television production. The success of the Power universe gave him a new level of credibility in Hollywood and proved that his business instincts were as sharp as ever. But despite his success in entertainment, 50 Cent never stepped away from the online persona that made him famous. His social media accounts became known for their relentless trolling. From celebrities to politicians to fellow rappers, almost no one was safe from his jokes and commentary. At first, fans loved it. His posts were often hilarious, brutally honest, and perfectly timed to go viral. Many people felt like he was saying what others were too afraid to say. However, the same style that once made him entertaining has slowly started to create problems. In recent years, some critics have argued that the constant trolling feels less like humor and more like unnecessary provocation. Social media audiences have also become more sensitive to tone and context, meaning that jokes that once might have been brushed off now spark major backlash. Several public moments have added to the growing criticism surrounding 50 Cent's behavior online. Some fans have questioned whether his relentless attacks on other celebrities cross the line from playful roasting into something more personal. Others believe that his reputation for stirring drama is starting to overshadow his actual achievements. And in the fast-moving world of internet culture, perception can change quickly. What once felt like fearless confidence can suddenly start to look like arrogance. What once felt like funny trolling can begin to seem repetitive or mean-spirited. As new generations of fans enter the hip-hop scene, not everyone views 50 Cent's style the same way older fans once did. Another factor adding to the conversation is how visible he remains online. Many celebrities carefully manage their public image, choosing when to speak and when to stay silent. 50 Cent, on the other hand, rarely holds back. If something catches his attention, whether it's a viral video, celebrity scandal, or a trending argument, he often jumps directly into the conversation. Sometimes this approach works in his favor, bringing millions of views and keeping his name trending. Other times it sparks criticism that spreads just as quickly. Despite all of this, it would be a mistake to assume that 50 Cent's influence has disappeared. In many ways, he remains one of the most recognizable personalities in entertainment. His business ventures continue to grow, and the television projects connected to the Power universe still attract large audiences. Even people who criticize him often admit that he has a unique ability to control the conversation online. Still, the mood around him seems to be shifting. Some longtime fans have begun questioning whether the same strategies that helped him dominate headlines in the past are starting to backfire. Social media reactions are becoming more divided. For every person laughing at his latest joke, there's another asking whether the constant drama is worth it. And that's where things get complicated. Because 50 Cent has spent so many years building his image around confrontation and fearless commentary that stepping back might be nearly impossible. The persona he created thrives on controversy. It feeds on attention. But the same formula that once guaranteed viral success can also create fatigue among audiences who are constantly exposed to online drama. The real question now isn't whether 50 Cent can still command attention. He clearly can. The question is whether the type of attention he's getting today is the same kind that once helped elevate his career. In the entertainment world, there's a big difference between being talked about because people admire you and being talked about because people are tired of the chaos surrounding your name. As the debates about his behavior continue to spread across social media platforms, it's becoming clear that 50 Cent is entering a new phase of his public image. Some fans still see him as the fearless entertainer who refuses to follow the rules. Others are beginning to wonder if the constant trolling and controversy are starting to damage the legacy he worked. So hard to build, and with every new headline, every viral post, and every unexpected feud, the conversation grows louder. Because when it comes to 50 Cent, one thing has always been true. Wherever he goes, drama is never far behind. But this time, the drama might be creating questions that even he can't easily laugh off. While 50 Cent has always thrived on attention, recent events suggest that the very strategies that once elevated him may now be contributing to a growing sense of backlash. Social media, once a tool for his dominance, has become a double-edged sword. Fans, critics, and even casual observers are beginning to scrutinize his every move, and some of the commentary is harsh. The memes, the subtweets, and the viral posts are no longer simply playful reactions. They are evidence of a more serious elite shift in public perception. Part of the problem stems from timing. 50 Cent's persona was built in an era when internet outrage traveled slowly. In the early 2000s, a viral feud might take days to gain traction, giving him time to control the narrative. Today, however, social media is instant, relentless, and unforgiving. Every comment, post, or public feud can be amplified within minutes to millions of viewers. This instant feedback loop has made it far easier for fans to turn on someone, and harder for a celebrity to steer the conversation. Back in their favor, a recent series of online interactions highlighted this shift clearly. In one instance, 50 Cent publicly mocked a fellow celebrity over a personal issue. What would have been dismissed as classic 50 Cent trolling in the past quickly escalated into widespread criticism. Fans who had followed him for years were now questioning his approach. Was it funny, or was it cruel? Was it confidence, or was it insecurity disguised as bravado? These are questions that 50 Cent may not have faced in quite the same way earlier in his career. Beyond social media, 50 Cent's business ventures have also faced challenges that add to the narrative of a downward spiral. The Power franchise, while still successful, is not immune to criticism. Spin-offs and sequels sometimes face mixed reviews. And there's a growing expectation for him to innovate beyond what fans have already seen. The entertainment industry moves quickly, and even a brand as strong as Power cannot rely solely on past glory. Investors, partners, and viewers are increasingly holding him accountable, making each new decision more high stakes than ever. Complicating matters is his role in online feuds, which has grown increasingly controversial. In the past, his battles with other celebrities were framed as entertainment. Now, with heightened public sensitivity and changing cultural norms, some of those same tactics can be interpreted as bullying or unnecessary aggression. While his fans may celebrate his fearlessness, others argue that his brand of confrontation is becoming outdated, even toxic. This shift creates tension between maintaining authenticity and managing public perception, a challenge that is often more difficult than it appears. Additionally, the media landscape has transformed. Where once 50 Cent could control the narrative through carefully timed interviews or selective leaks, today journalists, bloggers, and social media commentators report in real time. Every misstep or controversial post is dissected, analyzed, and shared. The rapid-fire nature of this reporting means that reputations can erode quickly, if not managed carefully. For someone like 50 Cent, whose persona thrives on unpredictability, this presents a unique dilemma: how to stay true to his brand while avoiding reputational damage. Personal life. Scrutiny also contributes to the perception of his downfall. 50 Cent's relationships, legal disputes, and public interactions with friends and rivals are constantly under a microscope. Unlike in previous decades, where fans were limited to curated interviews or magazine spreads, social media ensures that every statement, photo, or video can be shared widely in an instant. This relentless visibility magnifies mistakes and creates pressure to respond immediately, even when a measured response might be wiser. Another element adding to the scrutiny is generational change. Fans who grew up during 50 Cent's rise may still appreciate his bold persona, but younger audiences have different expectations. Many new listeners value authenticity in ways that go beyond bravado or shock value. What worked in the early 2000s as a form of entertainment now risks being interpreted as tone-deaf or aggressive. Bridging this generational gap requires strategic adaptation. Yet 50 Cent's reputation for fearlessness makes restraint difficult. Financial scrutiny also plays a role in the growing narrative of decline. Though he has successfully diversified into businesses like music, television production, and investments, public perception often focuses more on controversy than on calculated success. Headlines highlighting his missteps or feuds overshadow the entrepreneurial milestones that would normally reinforce his reputation as a savvy businessman. As a result, casual observers may form a skewed impression that 50 Cent's career is faltering, when in reality, he may simply be facing the consequences of high visibility in a hypercritical media environment. Despite these challenges, it's important to note that 50 Cent remains a master of reinvention. Throughout his career, he has repeatedly shown the ability to pivot from setbacks. His resilience is part of what made him a household name. Whether navigating the competitive world of rap, expanding into television, or leveraging social media, he has proven time and again that he can adapt, if not perfectly, then creatively. Yet the question persists, can he adapt fast enough in today's climate? Where audience attention is fragmented, criticism spreads instantaneously, and public sentiment can change overnight. For a celebrity whose brand is built on provocation, timing is everything. One poorly received joke, one misinterpreted comment, or one feud that escalates too far can become a flashpoint for criticism, undoing years of carefully cultivated influence. Meanwhile, fans and critics alike are watching closely. Social media platforms are flooded with commentary, both supportive and critical. Memes circulate at lightning speed, and every post becomes part of the narrative. In this environment, perception is as powerful as reality. Even if 50 Cent is thriving behind the scenes, the story that audiences tell themselves about him, whether as a fearless icon or a controversial figure spiraling downward, becomes the lens through which his actions are viewed. This tension between perception and reality, between boldness and backlash, defines 50 Cent's current phase. He is still undeniably influential, still commanding attention, and still capable of creating viral moments. But the rules of engagement have changed. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. And even the boldest personalities can face consequences when the public collectively decides that enough is enough. So, while some may declare that 50 Cent is in decline, others see an opportunity for reinvention. His resilience, experience, and business acumen suggest that he is far from finished. Yet the spotlight has never been sharper, the audience never more critical, and the stakes never higher. Every move he makes now will be analyzed, debated, and potentially weaponized against him. A challenge that requires both caution and creativity. In essence, 50 Cent's current chapter is one of tension, a balancing act between maintaining the fearless persona that defined his career and navigating the complexities of a modern, hyper-connected media landscape. The coming months will likely determine whether he can successfully manage this evolution or whether this period of backlash represents the beginning of a more significant downturn. As the dust continues to settle around 50 Cent's recent controversies, one thing is clear: the landscape around him has changed. For years, he thrived in a world where boldness, aggression, and controversy were not only accepted but celebrated. His fearless persona made him a cultural icon, someone who could dominate headlines, shape conversations, and leave rivals scrambling to respond. But now, in an era defined by instant social media reactions, heightened awareness of public accountability, and an audience that constantly reevaluates celebrities, 50 Cent faces a new kind of challenge, one where the same qualities that once fueled his rise may no longer guarantee success. At the center of this unfolding drama is perception. Public opinion can turn with startling speed, especially when amplified by social media. Even a joke or post intended to be humorous can spiral into backlash if it's misinterpreted or poorly timed. 50 Cent, who built a career on pushing boundaries and challenging norms, now finds that those boundaries are shifting. Fans who once celebrated his provocations are beginning to question whether the behavior aligns with the image they admire. Critics, meanwhile, are quick to point out inconsistencies between his actions and his accomplishments, framing his online antics as a sign that his relevance might be waning. Recent incidents illustrate this perfectly. Several online feuds, once considered entertaining, are now being scrutinized for their tone and impact. What previously would have been shrugged off as classic 50 Cent trolling is now generating serious debate. Some fans accuse him of going too far, while others argue that he is simply maintaining the persona that made him famous. This tension between authenticity and public perception creates a precarious situation. He must remain true to his brand, but he must also navigate an audience that is more vocal, discerning, and ready to call out perceived missteps. Compounding this is the changing nature of celebrity itself. In the past, fame was controlled through traditional media channels, interviews, magazines, and televised appearances. Now, fame is instant, volatile, and decentralized. A single tweet, Instagram post, or viral clip can define public sentiment. For someone like 50 Cent, who relies heavily on social media to engage with audiences, this immediacy presents both opportunity and risk. Every interaction becomes a potential headline, every joke a potential controversy, and every response a test of whether he can maintain his influence without alienating fans. Beyond perception, it's a question of legacy looms large. 50 Cent is no longer just a rapper. He is a businessman, a producer, and an entertainment mogul. Projects like the Power franchise cemented his status as a serious player in television, proving he could pivot beyond music and create a lasting empire. Yet even these accomplishments are vulnerable to being overshadowed by constant online drama. When fans focus more on controversies than on his achievements, the narrative around him shifts. Suddenly, instead of being remembered for his innovation, strategy, or influence, the conversation centers on whether his behavior is self-sabotaging or damaging to his legacy. This scrutiny extends to his financial ventures as well. While 50 Cent has diversified his portfolio, investing in music streaming, television, and various business ventures, public attention often zeroes in on missteps rather than successes. Headlines highlighting conflict, criticism, or backlash naturally draw clicks, which can distort perception. The result is a paradox. His influence remains substantial, but the story most people tell themselves about him may be less flattering than reality. So, what does the future hold for 50 Cent? One possibility is reinvention. His career is defined by adaptability, from rising out of the streets of Queens to becoming a global music icon and business mogul. History shows that he can recover from setbacks, pivot into new opportunities, and remain relevant. A careful recalibration of his public image, balancing boldness with strategic restraint, could allow him to reclaim control over the narrative. Fans would still get the fearless entertainer they love, but with a focus that underscores his achievements rather than fueling controversy. Another potential path is that of continued volatility. If 50 Cent continues to lean heavily on provocation without consideration for shifting public perception, backlash may intensify. Memes, social media criticism, and negative press could dominate discussions about him, overshadowing his accomplishments and threatening his legacy. Even if he remains financially successful, public sentiment may increasingly frame him as a celebrity struggling to adapt. A cautionary tale of what happens when fame and boldness collide with a rapidly evolving digital landscape. The reality is likely somewhere in between. 50 Cent possesses the resources, talent, and experience to navigate these challenges, but the stakes are higher than ever. Every decision, from a social media post to a public feud or business move, carries amplified consequences. Fans, competitors, and media outlets are all watching, and the margin for error is smaller than it has ever been. Ultimately, 50 Cent's current chapter is not just about a single feud or controversy. It's about adaptation, perception, and legacy. He is being tested in a way that few celebrities ever are challenged to maintain relevance in a culture where every action is scrutinized and where public opinion can shift overnight. The question is not whether he can make headlines, he clearly can. The question is whether he can ensure that the headlines reinforce his legacy rather than undermine it. For fans and observers, this moment is both dramatic and fascinating. 50 Cent remains a cultural force, a master of attention, and a fearless figure in entertainment. Yet the challenges he faces now are unprecedented. Navigating a hypercritical audience, managing the perception of his brand, and maintaining his legacy in the face of rapid-fire criticism. How he responds could define not only the next chapter of his career, but also the enduring story of one of hip-hop's most iconic figures. In the end, 50 Cent's journey is a reminder that fame is not static and success is never guaranteed. Even the boldest, most influential personalities must adapt to survive. Whether this chapter is remembered as a temporary setback, a moment of learning, or the beginning of a more serious decline depends largely on how he chooses to navigate the challenges ahead. Fans around the world are watching, critics are weighing in, and the internet never sleeps, making the next moves 50 Cent makes more crucial than ever. What do you think? Is 50 Cent's empire really at risk? Or is this just another chapter in the life of one of hip-hop's boldest icons? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we want to hear from you. Do you think his fearless trolling and online antics are genius moves or mistakes that could hurt his legacy? Don't forget to like this video if you've been following 50 Cent's journey. And hit that subscribe button so you never miss our deep dives into celebrity drama, hip-hop feuds, and entertainment industry shakeups. Turn on notifications to be the first to catch every update. And if you want more insider breakdowns on the latest celebrity controversies, check out our other videos because the world of fame moves fast and we've got you covered.